adult nostalgia buffs, pop culture enthusiasts, aficionados. Welcome back. David Eon and the stunning Miss Lady Pop Hunter here. Having an open discussion, and by open discussion we mean please do comment down below about coming of age movies, because we throw that term around every once in a while talking about certain genres of films, and you saw a lot of them actually in the 70s and 80s particularly. Those are the ones, and something about 70s and 80s films that just stand out anyways, that are a cut above, particularly when there was no CGI and you had to rely on a good story. You couldn't just throw shit at the audience until they were overwhelmed or started feeling queasy with CGI effects. But coming of age style films, which sometimes watching them once is enough. There's a couple that they're hard to watch. But they're hard to watch.
What is a coming of age film?
Yes.
And normally it's preteens to teenagers. It can be an adult or a young adult, like in their 20s. But it's usually preteens. When I say preteens, I mean like 10 to 13. Yeah. And then a teenager. And it's a group and an event happens. It could be a one-day event or a one-night event, or it can be over the summer, over the school year, or something. But something significant happens to that group that changes them.
Or at least one of them. It causes them to pull together or causes either an individual or a group epiphany where, you know, basically the bulb comes on and they realize, oh, wow, you know what? I need to change, or I need to do this, or I was wrong, or something like that.
Doesn't mean that it's a permanent change, because as we go through this list, we'll talk about that. But something significant happens to the group that they all realize what happened. And again, some of them might change, some of them not.
And this is kind of a top 10 list of like recommended sort of coming of age films that if you haven't seen them, you might be interested in checking it out.
And again, it's not an exhaustive list. It's just the ones we've seen. Now, we did not put in horror, because a lot of horror are coming of age.
For example, It could be considered a coming of age film because they're adolescent kids and they band together and come to an understanding.
And we didn't put comedy.
Yeah. So dramas.
Yeah, it's mainly all drama.
And again, not exhaustive, so if you have suggestions, again, feel free to post them.
Because many of you have recommended TV shows and movies, and as long as we can find it on a free streaming app,
we might check it out.
We watch it. We watch it and we check it out. So please, if you know of a coming-of-age film, even if it's a horror or a comedy, put it in the description below. So the first one that we got is Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh, yeah.
And that's with James Dean.
James Dean, one of the few films he actually did for having been so famous.
And he was a good actor, and a lot came out. His acting ability or potential really came out in this movie. Yeah, because
he didn't really star in much either. Mostly he was in the background in the few films that he did do before his accident. But yeah, Rebel Without a Cause, his acting ability does stand out there, and right from the onset of that film, they demonstrate just how tormented he is emotionally because of problems at home.
At home with his parents.
Particularly his father. He really loved his father, but wanted his father to stand up for himself. He was terribly henpecked at home by his mother and mother-in-law. And you start off in the police station in the juvenile division with him. He was drunk, I think, right? I think he'd been drinking.
I think it was public drunkenness.
Yeah, and with a detective there, just trying to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Say, hey, kid, you know, just talk.
Yeah, if you need something, give me a call. And the events in this movie happened over a few days. You could tell it's a real short period of time, maybe a week. But it was a short period of time until the climax. It came to a head. But it was a well done. The cinematography was good.
Yeah.
The language was good. You know, the writing of the movie was really good. I think it's a good one for you to watch.
And you saw parts of, where was that filmed?
It was filmed in Los Angeles in a famous observatory there.
So you got to see Los Angeles before it was wall-to-wall buildings.
Yeah, you did. Because they did some aerial shots.
And there's nothing.
And there's nothing there.
Nothing there. It's all trees.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that's a good coming of age movie because he even though it has a, you know, spoiler alert, tragic ending, he gets to find what he was looking for, what he needed to help him to mature to the next stage. Because you know,
not only he came to the realization, his dad did too, because he confronted his dad with the problems he had, because he was a troublemaker because of his dad. And he confronted his dad.
And his dad wasn't a bad guy.
No, the dad was a great guy, just, you know, didn't man up. And the dad realized it when he confronted him, but still backed off. But when everything happened, Dad realized, oh, he's really disturbed by my inability to leave.
Yeah,
basically.
And it's also a good window into certain lifestyles or mindsets of that time period. Because not all films are. Some films glorify, and we talked about that in another discussion just recently, how with the onset of color television and trying to showcase fashion and other things in shows, they got more away from reality. And you don't get an honest depiction of, say, the 70s or the 80s in some 70s and 80s primetime shows. But this one gives you a good window into that time period.
Yeah. The next one is American Graffiti.
American Graffiti, a classic. Ron Howard is in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that was like a prequel to Happy Days. It was not. It was not a prequel to Happy Days, but I can see where the tie-in there. It's not a comedy. It is a drama, even though there are some funny moments, and it's a very young Harrison Ford in it as well.
Oh, Harrison Ford.
In a small part. He was the guy that was looking for a street race.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And he had that real souped-up car, and he's riding around looking for somebody all night. And he was like, "Where's so-and-so?" Because I'm trying to call him out so we can drag. Really interesting. Again, another nice window into that culture and that time period, and how, because there was no internet, there was no computers, there was no cell phones, and so what did you do? You drove up and down the strip all night and hung out and looked for someone to talk to, somewhere to hang out, and it's an interesting window into that time period. And of course, Ron Howard is the main character. And this takes place all in one evening. Yeah, it's one night. And he's looking for, he's trying to make a solid decision, a life-changing decision about his next step in life. Yeah, because he was about to graduate from high school. Yeah. And like, what was he going to do next? Do I want to leave this town? Yeah. Do I want to go to the college that's been laid out for me? He was having conflicts on his own, but of course there's a lot of other things going on. Yeah, there's a lot of other things going on. And that's another thing about coming of age movies. It's not a lot going on when you really break it down and look at it. It's busy. It's busy stuff, but it's really nothing going on. And it's usually average, everyday things that's relatable that you can see, okay, yeah, I can see that happening. Unlike other movies, it's so far-fetched, okay, that'll never happen. Yeah, but those small things can feel overwhelming. Yeah. Especially if you're a young or an immature person. The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club, a famous 80s film. Yeah, that happened all in one day. All in one day. Or one afternoon, because they were in Saturday detention. Yes. And it was a group in Saturday detention. Kind of got forgotten about. Yeah.
They were a group of just mixed kids in Saturday detention from all different types of background, and they came together. And I don't know, he wasn't a teacher, but the person that was supposed to watch them, I don't know if he left or did what.
He just wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
But every person, this is where it gets off a little bit, I guess, is every single kid represented a different clique
in school.
In school, which would probably never happen in real life, where it's just one representative of every clique in school.
Yeah, because usually if you're in Saturday detention, it's usually all the bad kids.
All the class clowns are in there.
Yeah, you already know each other because you're always in Saturday
it's a party.
Or in school suspension. We had in school suspension and Saturday detention.
Yeah.
But yeah, every clique was in there, and then they all came together because they started talking to one another. They all got together to look for the teacher, and they just did things, and they realized, okay, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad. You're not so different. We do have things in common.
Yeah.
And in some respects, I kind of consider it to be one of the more realistic.
Yeah.
Reason being, and again, spoiler alert, at the end of it, when they're back to school Monday morning, they really don't acknowledge each other. It might be a parting glance or something, but we're not friends.
Yeah.
We're not pals now because we had this moment of understanding. We fell right back into our social niches.
Yeah. And we going back to not knowing who you are and not caring.
You don't exist anymore. We're done. And I can see that as being rather realistic for just how people are.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one is Stand By Me.
Number 4, Stand By Me. And
Stand By Me happened over a summer break.
Yeah.
And it was a group of friends. They were already friends. And an event happened. Someone died. One of them saw it. And they figured out where the body was. And they wanted to go and make sure.
Yeah, there was
confirm.
a body that had been, someone was missing,
Yeah.
and I guess somebody figured out where it was, and they wanted to go and see for themselves.
Yeah, they want to go to confirm it. And they trekked, I don't know, across town. No, it was 2 days.
Going through the woods.
Yeah, because it was 2 days because well, no, I said it was over summer break. But they crossed, I don't know, town or something, spent the night in the woods, went through the junkyard, and then they found the body.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. They got caught by one of the brothers.
Some bully kids, but they learned to band together. To stand up against that and back them down finally, instead of just being tormented.
Yeah, but at the end, because the narrator said the narrator was one of the boys that was grown up and was retelling a story. They never really talked again.
Yeah, they slowly drifted apart.
Yeah, one of them moved. The other one, they saw him in school. They spoke casually, but they were never close friends again.
Yeah, and
after that,
which also is kind of realistic because people drift apart after a while. Tastes change, maturity levels become widely different.
Yeah. Boys in the Hood.
Number 5. Which I have to admit I don't remember very well.
I don't remember
the
film.
The Hood. I remember just snippets.
I actually saw this in a movie theater, but it's South Central LA. You got Ice-T in it. A lot of people just starting up. Not Ice-T. Sorry, Ice Cube was in it.
Okay.
I want to say it was his first acting gig. I think, I'm not sure, but anyway, they're in a street gang. One of their friends was killed, and they're going out to find the rival gang that killed the guy. And it's just their life, their everyday life, the things that they do, the things that they go through. Like I said, one of the guys got killed. They went out looking for him. Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it. When they got there, he saw, okay, they're about to kill this guy. He got out of the car, left. I think they did end up killing the guy. And then they told you what happened to everybody at the end. But yeah, he had that realization that, hey, wait a minute, I don't need to do this. This is never going to stop. It's an ongoing cycle. I can't
keep living this lifestyle.
Yeah, this gangster lifestyle, because that's the area they lived in. That's what they were surrounded by.
Yeah, you can either accept or reject that.
Yeah, and his dad, which was Lawrence Fishburne, was trying to tell him throughout the movie, hey, you don't have to live like this. You don't have to buy into it. You know, use your mind, get out of here, all of this and that there.
Yeah. Now, Secondhand Lions. Is that the next one?
No, it's Outsiders.
Oh, you want to do Outsiders?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I don't think I've seen that.
You've seen Outsiders.
Which one is Outsiders?
Outsiders was the one with the guy Pony Boy, the two friends. They were greasers.
Okay.
It had everybody was in that movie.
I know the film you're talking about, but I don't remember it. I really don't remember the plot.
Okay. Well, Pony Boy, I can't remember the other guy. They were greasers, and a crime happened, so they had to hide out, and they hid out in this church, this abandoned church, and they were hiding out there until things died down. A field trip was going on. It was a bus accident. The bus caught on fire. The guy, Ralph Macchio, went to help the kids and got burned up really bad.
He was like, what, 45 in that?
He was old. I mean, he was in his 20s. He's older than you
realize. You have to understand that by the time he got to Karate 3, he was, I think, 27 or 28 years old.
Yeah, and he was still, 16?
In the movie, because he looked that old.
He did look that old. And in Outsiders came out before Karate Kid.
Like a year before, I think.
Yeah, and he was in his 20s. But in that movie, I think he was supposed to be 14 years old. And he looked every bit of it. But he got burned up really bad. He didn't have a relationship with his with his family. He was living out in the streets. Everybody had trouble at home, just trying to get by. They had what's that guy? Tom Cruise was in it. A couple of other. If you see the movie, you're gonna recognize everybody. Yeah. But they're just trying to get by.
A lot of them ended up with a career.
Yeah, a big career.
What I do remember about the film is a synopsis of it, where they were saying that basically when they did the script, we want to find every good teen actor we can get our hands on for this film so that they do a good performance.
Yeah.
And it was a good enough showcase that many of them continued to progress in their careers as a result of that film.
Yeah, everybody had a upstanding career, stellar career after that. But it's a real good movie. You see the struggle. I can't remember where they lived. And this happened over some time. Time went by because, the event happened. They were hiding out in that church for weeks and all of that. So a lot of time went by. But you just saw the struggle of these boys. They never showed parents at all.
Yeah.
You had the older brothers that were doing whatever they had to do to try to get by.
The older brother was taking care of people?
Yeah. One of the older brothers was trying to take care of, like, the whole gang. Everybody had a little odd and end job. They just was trying to do what they could do to get by.
Yeah, and that's realistic in that there is every generation has a forgotten generation within it.
Yeah.
Of people that just had kids and they just kind of let the system raise them, and they don't even know who those kids are.
Yeah.
You never see them.
Yeah, because in this film, you did not see parents at all. You just saw the older guys, which were the brothers, and they were trying to take care of everybody, make sure you go here and there, trying to get the younger ones to go to school. They, kind of goofing off and everything like that. But you watch it and you say, okay, I know these people. I know people like this or in this situation, and I knew people in that situation. They were just at home. Their parents were working always, it seemed like. Sometime they went to school, sometime they didn't. They scratched around. They went from house to house. Maybe somebody will feed them if they go play with their friends long enough around dinner time. Where I lived, if you were around during dinner time, you were always offered dinner.
Yeah.
And you ate. If you wasn't going to eat,
I wasn't that lucky.
Yeah. If you wasn't going to eat,
because I was one of those kids.
You always went home.
Yeah.
But if you stuck around, they kind of knew, okay, well, you gonna eat. So it was like that. But the next one is Secondhand Lion.
Yeah, and this is a single kid.
Yeah.
And I like that movie, actually.
It is a good movie. It's kind of a comedy almost.
Yeah, it is. There are a lot of really funny moments in it. And this, it's this kid, another situation where a mother just has a kid, doesn't want to be bothered with him, but she's got a rich, I think it was an uncle, wasn't it? It's a rich uncle. I think it
was an uncle.
And she's like, she is a hustler, but she wants to incorporate the kid into the hustle, so she dumps the kid off on them. It's these two brothers, and they live on this farmhouse in the middle of freaking nowhere. And she's like, I know they got money hid on that farm. Dig around, find out where it is. I'll be back eventually. Yeah. And so he's running the hustle. But as he progressed with them, he comes to his epiphany. You know what? This is the first time I've ever had anything that even resembles a family. Yeah. These guys, they're stand-up guys. They're taking good care of me. I interact well with them. I'm enjoying being out here. I didn't think I was going to. He actually finds the stash. They do have a ton of cash hidden. And he finds it. And then when she shows up, he won't tell her where it is. Yeah. He was like, forget it. And, again, spoiler alert, they end up really rescuing him from her and her, heavy-handed boyfriend when they come back. The boyfriend was ready to rip his throat out to find out where that cash was hidden because he knew. But that was his epiphany of, okay, you know what? This is what a family looks like. I want this. Yeah, I don't care about the money.
It is a good movie, and it can be a comedy because it was funny. Those two old guys were very funny.
Ornery.
Yeah. But the interaction between them and how the boy came to realize that, hey, they're not as bad as I was making them out to be. We had Diversion Suicide,
which I have never seen.
You have seen Diversion Suicide?
I haven't seen that film.
You have.
Yeah, you say so.
It's a sad movie. It's this family, mother and father, and they have, I want to say, 7 daughters. The youngest daughter tries to commit suicide, but she's not successful. It starts out that way. She slit her wrist. They caught her in time. She goes to the hospital, all that. So now the family's trying to, cheer her up. So they have a party. They invite some friends from school, and she commits suicide at the party. So now the mother and father, they're super strict anyway. At least the mother is. The dad wants to be more lenient. He thinks that if you loosen the reins a little bit, things will be better. Mom isn't trying to hear it. So the girls are trying to, go to school, be normal. Everybody knows that they have strict parents. The prom is about to come up. One of the daughters is like, I really want to go to the prom. And dad convinces mom to let them go. To let them go. She can go if all of the sisters go. So they find boyfriends for all of them to go. And then one stays out. Now mom has locked it down. They can't go to school anymore. They can't go outside. They can't do nothing. And at the end, all of the girls commit suicide. All of them in one day commit suicide in some type of way. It's real sad, but it shows, their interaction with the parents' interaction with each other, because mom is super strict because she's afraid that the kids are going to go wild and go crazy. Dad thinks, if you just, loosen the reins a little bit. They have friends. The friends realize, okay, they got a lot of issues. They try to be there for them and comfort them and talk to them, and they start talking over the phone through music. So they would play music to like to relay their thoughts and feelings, and it has a really good soundtrack. But I think it's a good movie because the friends at the end begin to realize what was going on, and they want to help, and they try, but mom just wasn't.
I gotta ask you though, where's the epiphany in that if they're all dead?
I don't know.
What I don't know.
Just like the movie.
I don't know if that one counts.
I like the movie.
I do not remember that at all.
You saw it though.
You say so.
We got it upstairs. We'll watch it.
See it.
We'll watch it.
Yeah.
Coolie High.
Coolie High, and this is going back to the early 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
And
well, it was filmed in the 70s, but it's based in the 60s, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's another window into, a good window into lifestyles and genre of the time. And of Freddie Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter's in it.
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Yeah, he's one of the main characters.
And it's real interesting to watch this film because when it starts out, these are not likable characters at all.
No.
These kids are straight up punks.
Yeah.
You just want to choke them. You want to throttle them because they do everything wrong. They do the opposite of everything they should do, which is an accurate depiction of a lot of teenagers. Mm-hmm. They are rebellious. They're going to steal. They're going to tease animals. Yeah. They're going to do a lot of them. Because they were teasing that gorilla at the zoo, which didn't go well. but like I said, stealing, causing trouble, messing around with girls they had no business messing around with. They were doing a lot of dirty stuff. Yeah,
dirty, sneaky stuff. Being irresponsible.
And
one guy
didn't have to.
No.
Yeah.
One guy is supposed to be watching his sisters. His mom got like 3 jobs. He's supposed to be watching and helping to care for his sister. He's put himself in jail. They get into a lot of trouble. The one that you talked about that was in Welcome Back, Kotter, he has a scholarship to go to college.
Yeah, he had actually earned a scholarship.
Yeah, but because they messed around with the other guy who is a compulsive liar. Everybody knows he's a liar.
They don't trust anything that he says, yeah.
Yeah, but...
And, if there's a spoiler here.
But they fell for one of his little lies and got in trouble. And that got him killed later on in the movie. Yeah. He eventually get killed because of that guy's constant lying. And they know he's a liar. Yeah. And everybody knows, but, And
then his epiphany is like, this is all my fault.
Yeah. He realizes at the end when it's like too late because the boy's dead at the boy's funeral.
I need to quit being this way. I need to quit living this life. And I need to move on.
Yeah.
But it's a good film. It's interesting.
The Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
That's yours. You insisted on putting that on.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I don't know how well that actually counts. And I'll tell you the reason being...
He never learned.
He never learned anything. All 3 films, he's still making the same mistakes.
Even Cobra Kai, he's still
making the same freaking mistakes.
Well, he kind of...
All the way up until the last season when he stepped forward and he says, you know what? Johnny was right. You go in there and you fight like this in the tournament. It's taken all the way until
for 40
season
years.
4 of Cobra Kai for the epiphany to hit him. I had that on the list, but to be honest, I'm not sure how well that counts because he really, even though he wins at the end, he doesn't learn anything.
No.
And you really see that in part 2.
Yeah.
And then part 3.
Especially in part 3 when he goes spend all his college money to buy Mr. Miyagi a shop that he didn't even want.
He didn't want that. And then Miyagi is cornered. And he was like, okay, fine, bonsai shop. And then they even brought that up in Cobra Kai because he was like, oh, don't get me started about the bonsai shop.
Yeah.
Because he finally realized, wow, that wasn't a good idea.
But now, to his credit, in Cobra Kai, he addresses all of those issues.
That's part of what makes the show so good is it goes back and it brings up all the things fans have been saying for decades about the show. It's that Danny started all the fights. Danny was irresponsible. Danny didn't learn anything. So I don't know if that really counts. You know, looking back on it.
Well, I had one that didn't count, and so did you.
Okay, The Selfish
Giant.
That's
a hard to watch.
This is a film that goes on the list of I can watch it once, but I don't know if I could watch it again. This kid is a selfish giant is not a good description. How about freaking monster?
Yeah.
And it's a British film.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be from Ireland though. It's hard to understand them because they're from the pits of wherever they're from.
If you know anything about how things work in the UK, you can tell where someone is from by the accent.
Yeah.
And the more slurred the accent is, in many cases, not all cases, but in many cases, you can tell they come from a lower standing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the accents on these people are really sloppy. And it's like, so it can be kind of hard to follow at times. They're not very clear.
Yeah, you might want to turn on your the words at the bottom.
Yeah, closed captioning.
Closed caption.
But this kid is a terror. He is a monster. And also, this one does depict lifestyles in that region pretty good.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
And but he's a little kid. He's an adolescent. I think he's 12, 13, like that. I don't think he's over 13, and they kind of address it in the movie.
Yeah.
He refuses to go to school.
Not that it would do him any good.
Right.
But yeah.
Social services are coming to the house. But anyway, he has a friend that's always being bullied. They become friends somehow. He figures out,
and they're like two different cliques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause the guy that's always bullied is this big old guy, and then the other one, the one that's bad, he's a little puny little kid, but he figures out that they can sell copper. So they get this wagon, and they're pushing the wagon around town, collecting copper, taking it to get turned in. Well, not copper, sorry, scrap metal.
Scrap metal. Copper in particular plays into it, though.
Yeah.
Because he transitions from, let's pick up scrap to, let's steal it all over the place.
So they're picking up scrap. They're taking it in every day, you know, and so you watch that. Then they figure out, because while they're at the scrap yard, they see somebody else with copper get more money.
Yeah.
And they try to figure that out, and everybody's telling them, no, don't do that. It could be dangerous. Leave it alone. You know, and even a guy at the scrapyard is like, hey, why aren't y'all in school? Y'all are too young to be out here. He says whatever he wants to say, but they keep coming back every day.
Yeah.
Finally, they get to stealing the copper. And the electrocution happens.
It's spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
The big guy, the bigger kid, is killed, and now he's like devastated. He realizes
it finally hits him. Wow, I am an evil bastard.
Yeah.
Everything's my fault. This is the one person in the world that was actually nice to me.
Yeah.
And it breaks him down. He falls completely apart.
Yeah.
At the end of the film.
Yeah, because the bigger kid didn't want to do all that.
He was an honest kid.
Yeah, he just wanted a friend.
Yeah.
That's all. And this boy, for all it was worth, was a friend. Didn't bully him, didn't beat him up. Well, he did kind of bully him, but he wasn't
him around
getting
a little bit, but not like
he wasn't getting beaten.
Yeah.
So I guess the bigger kids saw that as better than whatever he was used to. But you watching it and you're sitting there looking and you're like, oh my God, this kid is awful.
It's horrible. Absolutely horrible, as are the parents, as are most of the other people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, he worked his butt off because they found the cart and you saw them pushing that cart all through town every day picking up scrap metal. And people are asking him, hey, why aren't you in school? Why aren't you doing this? Why are you out here?
Yeah.
And then he curses them out and all of that. He does.
Yeah.
And the bigger boy is like, when it got to the cop, he was like, I don't think we should do this. And he pushed the guy into doing it.
Yeah.
And he got electrocuted. I think the horse got killed. Seems like I remember a horse.
Yeah, a horse also died.
Yeah.
In that, yeah.
So that was sad. Then we got the Unloved. Another one hard to watch. It's another British film.
It's another British one, and it's a group home setting.
Yeah, it's a little girl. She was taken from her father. She's put into a group home as a young kid. She stays there until she ages out. Yeah. And you just watch her growing up in the group home, going through, the drug phase, the sex phase, all of that. It's hard to watch.
And it's interesting to watch also. Two things that really stood out for me, and again, this is because I used to work for the Juvenile Justice Authority, and I ran a facility for them. I was a director of a YRC2 facility. The two things that stood out for me was, one, the sexual interactions between the girls in the group home and the staff. Mm-hmm. That stuff does happen. Yeah. There was a lot of problems. The facility I ran was an all-female facility, and I only employed female staff to prevent that. Because when you had mixed staff and you had mixed clientele, that would happen with both males and females getting involved in sexual interactions with the kids that were being held by the Juvenile Justice Authority.
Yeah.
It happens. The other thing that stood out for me was how unprofessional the staff was. How poorly educated and unprofessional, because that happens a lot too. Yeah. They send them to a couple of certification classes, and then it's like, okay, yeah, you're good to go. No, I don't think so. I was a lot stricter about that sort of thing, but many of those facilities are not.
Yeah, but in both movies, Selfish Giant and The Unloved, you see how the social Child Protective Services, I guess,
fails.
They fail. You see how they come into your house. Both of them, they have I guess it's like a truancy officer that comes around. They force their way into your house and they making all kinds of demands. So you see that. And it shows you a window, like he said, into the life in Europe. I mean, we in America, we know how things go depending on your social class. You kind of know how things go, but you see it in another country, and it's pretty sad. The next one I have, you saw this, but you're gonna swear you didn't. Little Birds.
I don't know that one.
That one was. That one was sad. It's a little girl. Mm-hmm. She's a teenager. I want to say she might be 14, 15 years old. She lives in a trailer park. I want to say in Arizona or New Mexico. Mm-hmm. But she lives in a trailer park in some desert. Life is too slow for her. She needs more.
She thinks she does.
Yeah, she needs more. She wants more. So she packs up, runs away, and she gets, I think, to California, and things are not going the way. She gets herself into prostitution and all of this, and then she realizes things weren't as bad as I made it out to be when I was at home.
It's kind of like the music video "Love Is a Battlefield."
Yeah.
Remember, because she finds herself in that like brothel, and then and she keeps having flashbacks of arguing with her parents in the video. Yeah.
I got Ordinary People, but I don't think that's a coming of age. Ordinary People is a good movie though. Okay. If you want to see it, it has Donald Sutherland in it, and it's I can't think of the other guy's name, but it's a very good film. It came out in 1980.
Is that the one with the kid who's suicidal?
Yeah, because his brother was I think what's it? Meryl Streep is in it. Is the mother. Donald Sutherland's the father. Then they have a kid. His older brother died, and now he's all suicidal and got all kind of mental issues.
I don't think that was resolved at the end. I think they just kept preventing him from killing himself over and over, right?
Yeah, they sent him to all kinds of doctors and stuff. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that one. But the last one is The Wanderers.
The Wanderers, and that was set in the 60s, I think, right?
Yeah, it's 60s or 50s.
I think it was the 1960s because
soundtrack.
The Marine was trying to draft people.
Yeah, for the Korean War, right?
It would be. I thought it was Vietnam.
I don't remember.
So I think it was the 60s, but I could be wrong.
Now, one thing, a lot of racial slurs are going to happen in this film.
Yes.
So just be aware. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
And to understand it, you just that happens in the film because of how the film is.
And it's part of the groups coming to an epiphany.
Yeah.
Because it's not just one directional racism. There's three different primary groups being represented. It was black, white, and Asian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they all have issues with each other. They all have, we're Asian, we got to be together. We're black, we got to be together. We're white, we have to be together. And you're this and you're that.
Yeah.
But that kind of, by the end of the film, it
all of that gets erased.
It washes away.
And so just know you're going to get a lot of racial slurs.
You'll hear some harsh language.
Yeah, a lot of racial slurs from everybody.
Yeah.
But the Wanderers is because it's a bunch of different street gangs.
This group calls themselves
the Wanderers. And they have their issues with the other gangs. They want to fight with the black gang, which I don't remember the name of the black gang.
They think they do.
Yeah, one of the guys says, "Okay, wait a minute. Nope, we're not going to fight."
It was an OG group.
Yeah.
These are old men that are also a group, but they maintain things, and so they get together with an older group
from the
black community, and they both show up together and they say, "No, we're not going to have a gang fight.
Yeah,
this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, this is how you're going to fight it out."
Yeah, and they arranged for a community football game, a closed event. It wasn't an official football game. It's between just them and just the community who was going to come out and watch.
Yeah.
But
another gang which didn't go to school.
Yeah.
And in the film they run into this gang and when they
a couple of times.
Yeah.
And these are not kids. Spoiler alert again. These are not a group of kids that are hanging out and breaking bottles or getting drunk or stealing a car. These guys are very dangerous.
Yeah, they're adults.
They're nasty. And
they encounter them the first time and you don't really know what's going on
because they're like, oh crap, what side of town are we on?
Yeah, they don't know where they are.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So at the football game, they playing their game, everything is going well. Then suddenly this other gang or group, whatever, shows up at the football game and surrounds them.
Surrounds the stadium.
The whole stadium.
The football field. There must have been like 200 of them. Where are they all coming from?
Yeah. And so the rival gangs, the Wanderers and the Black Gang, now they got to fight together.
And all the other spectating gangs have to join in. And then you get to the end. And one of them, there's a personal epiphany as well as a group epiphany because the one boy has to learn to grow up real quick because of something that he did.
Yeah.
And there's a wedding taking place, and some of the black kids show up, some of the Asian kids show up, and they were like, "Oh, we just wanted to wish you well," and he says, "No, you're staying."
Yeah.
Because all that.
It's over now. It's over now. Because we all had to come together and fight together. Then it's two other kids that were a part of the gang that had their epiphany and was like, we're not sticking around. We're going to get into the car
like this.
And we're going to go west. And they got into the car at the end and they went west. and they just left. They didn't say anything. They just packed their bags, got in the car,
and there's reasons for that, but you understand when you see it.
When you see the movie, you'll see, because those two got together on a different level because of something that was going on in their apartment building.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. That's our list. And again,
a handful of recommendations, more than 10.
Yeah, it's a handful.
Yeah.
We recommend it. They're pretty good, and we don't watch things that are vulgar. Or just laced with sex and all kind of ridiculousness. Now, like I said, The Wanderers, you're gonna get a lot of foul language, and also Coolie High and Boys in the Hood. If you watch those three, you're gonna get some foul language, some racial slurs.
Because Coolie High, you're gonna hear the N-word dropped a lot.
And so is Boys in the Hood.
It's like 98% black cast, and the use of that terminology in casual conversation's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
So they do emphasize that in the film.
Yeah, and also Boys in the Hood, you're gonna get a lot of that, and you're gonna get a little more sex. But all in all, they are good films. And again, if you know of any, please leave it in the thing. We do look it up, and we have watched several movies and TV shows that viewers have recommended.
Recommendations. Because we do actually try to go through all of our comments.
Yeah.
So, thoughts?
Yeah.
Feel free to post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it.
Or if you've seen some of the movies, just say, hey, I saw that.
If you agree, you disagree, tell us what you think. And if that's it, then what more can we say? But thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.